Alrighty, we're gonna get started again. Hello, hope everyone had a super awesome weekend. I'm gonna go over the housekeeping stuff again. We have another jam session this week on Wednesday. It's gonna start at 6:30. It's gonna be located at Menlo Innovations, which is a pretty cool software development consultancy on Liberty near State Street. So it's a lot closer than FarmLogs. So if that was a problem for you, you should definitely come this time. Some stuff we're going to be going over there. We're going to be going over the information architecture material that we're talking about. Sam's going to be lecturing on today. We're also going to talk a little bit more about user discovery and learning a lot about your users and stuff like that. They have a super unique process on that stuff that I think has really contributed towards their success. So they'll be there sort of teaching us about that, which is pretty awesome. Last week's assignment is due tonight. It's a super short assignment, so if you haven't done it, I definitely suggest doing this one as one of your required assignments. Attendance, our word is on the board. It's LaCroix. It's 2 words, even though it doesn't look like it. And then lastly, MHAX is this weekend. Ahmad and I are going to be there, so if any of you guys or girls are there and want to hang out, we'd love to meet you. We're going to be there on Saturday for sure, possibly teaching product design tech talk. So, yeah.
Hey, everybody. All right. You guys can hear me, right? All right. Yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to come out to the jam sessions. We're going to be getting into a lot more like doing and making design. So as we go on the semester, this is going to get really more and more important. Today we're talking about information architecture. Basically, where we started. Last couple lectures we talked about the user and the context that exists in the world, and we're trying to build a form to suit that user and context. You guys are familiar with this, right? And we talked about some ways that design can be good. How do you know if a design is good? Well, if it's functional, if it's simple, if it delights the user, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about the process that designers usually go through when they're designing something. This is the short version. What's the problem? Make a thing. Did it work? Excuse me. This is the process we're going through. Last week we talked about this way to define a problem. Person wants to blank so they can blank. We talked about how you're not actually going to talk about the product in the problem. So if you want to build an app, you don't talk about the app, you talk about the person, what their goal is, and why that's their goal. We talked about asking why over and over again. This is one of the process diagrams we talked about earlier on. So you're going to start through discovery and define the problem, and then the problem definition. So we kind of fast forwarded through a lot of that stuff because, like we said, we're going to really want you guys getting your hands dirty with the design as quickly as possible. We're basically halfway through it. The rest of the semester is going to be on the rest. Hopefully, if you guys did the assignment last week, you have a problem that describes something that's real in somebody else's life. And we're going to basically try to take the rest of the semester and give you step-by-step steps to help you get to an actual design. If you follow these steps, hopefully you won't get stuck, and the design at the end is going to be simple, suited to the user, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. That's the system design. We were talking about this lecture a little bit earlier. This is like a hard one. It's called information architecture. It's really abstract. There's going to be sort of these philosophical concepts going on. What are things? What are actions? Can anyone tell me like what abstraction is? Yeah.
Isn't it kind of just taking something and breaking it down in its most simplest forms?
Yeah, it's breaking something down to its most simple forms. And that's pretty much accurate. I think what you're sort of missing there is that we're sort of finding what's simply common amongst a lot of different things. So if we were abstracting people, we'd find something that we all sort of generally have. Like a face. People tend to have faces. We're not talking about a specific person. We're not going to get into details today about specific apps. We're going to try to keep broad strokes and keep things abstract. So, this is going to be a little tough, and if I say some stuff in this lecture that doesn't quite make sense, just note it down, keep it in your toolbox, and as we go through the rest of the lectures, you might want to circle back and return to this. Remember how we had this process of iteration that appeared in all the design processes? If it doesn't make sense the first time through, just stick with me, it'll make sense next time. Okay. So, it's about information architecture. Does anyone know what this is a picture of? Falling water in the back. What's falling water?
It's a house that they made basically after the waterfall, and I think that's a nice while back.
Speak up. I can't quite hear you.
Basically the houses are after the waterfall, and if you go to the lower areas, you can see the waterfall going through the house.
Yeah.
And
It's exactly right. It's a house built on top of waterfalls in Pennsylvania, kind of where I'm from. It's designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was like probably familiar with Frank Lloyd Wright. I think the analogy of a house is really a good analogy for designing software for a couple reasons. One, houses are complex. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of systems and subsystems in houses, electrical, plumbing. They're really technical. You have to have a lot of technical expertise to know how to build a house, to build it the right way. But houses are not built to do a very technical task. They're designed, right? They're built for humans. Famous architect said that a house is a machine for living in. And that's kind of what we're building, is we're building these machines that humans have to live in. So the analogy here is pretty good. If we were building a house, we would need some engineers to make sure it was structurally sound, especially if it's on top of a waterfall. So we have structural engineers. If you're building an app on a computer, you have software engineers. What would the designers be if they were building a house? What's the analogous role in building homes for design? Anybody? I think it's architecture. Architecture, probably. That's kind of the point we're trying to make. An architect is somebody who not only figures out the function of a home, but figures out why it is the way it is for people. Architects tend to draw things like this. Now, there are like renderings of homes that they make like this, but first they tend to draw like this, or even like this. Not like that. Well, pretend there's a blueprint there. I don't know what happened. It's a blueprint in your mind's eye. It's facing down in the house. You see all these different rooms, and each room is labeled like living room and dining room, and you can see that there's spaces between each room so that you can move between the spaces. Why would you draw a drawing like this? It doesn't have any color. It doesn't really show texture very well. It has a lot less information than this, rendering. Why do you think architects draw like this? What do you think?
to scrap it?
It's easy to scrap it, he says. I'm cheating. This is one of my interns from last semester who's joining us. He's going to chime in if you guys don't answer questions. It's easy to scrap it. That's a good point, because it doesn't take you very long to build, right? So you don't have to spend like hours and hours building this. Why would you want to scrap it? Aren't you going to be perfect the first time you build something? Probably not. What else does something like this do for you when you're working on a house? Yeah?
Well, as an architect, you're typically in constant dialogue with your client, so this allows a lot more like conversation with the client for them to make more decisions about the project, so then like determining the color and leaving it more open-ended for the client to suggest.
Yeah, she said that as an architect, you're constantly in a dialogue with your client to figure out what they want. So this helps them figure out sort of what to focus on as you have multiple revisions of what you're working on. And I think something else you might have been touching on is that you can focus on the parts of the house that you want feedback on. Like, should there be a living room? Should it be above a waterfall? And you don't have to worry about things like what color is the brick going to be, like what is the paint color inside the house going to be, because it doesn't appear here at all. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to do the architecture of the house. Broad strokes, what are the rooms? Why do you want to go from one room to another? And we're not going to worry today all about the user interface. We're not going to have any buttons, not going to have any menus, we're not going to have any copy. We're just going to figure out the bones of the app, the foundation of the house, if you will, something that looks like this. That's a goal. Okay, so we're going to do an exercise. I'm going to ask Kelsey to come up here. We're we're just going to draw some diagrams of information architecture of some apps you guys are familiar with. Can anybody tell me what the goal of Facebook is? If you had to write a user as in blank, I want to blank so that I can blank. I'm going to say as someone with friends, as a user with friends, I want to see what's going on in my real-life social network. You just take your time out. So that I can keep in touch with my friends, know what's going on around me, have conversations with people. Does anybody disagree with that? This is a pretty rare system of Facebook. I could be wrong. That might be better on that way. Okay, so how are we going to design this? This is like the fun moment for me because this is actually the first time we're going to get anything. What's the first thing that happens when you log into Facebook? You get a login screen. This helps you like verify this. You have to do whatever you say you are, and you have to see everybody else's stuff. And where do you go after you log in? Newsfeed. Thank you. But let's pretend you don't have any friends on Facebook yet. Yeah.
Make sure the drawings are nice and big.
Nice and big. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so say you don't have any friends yet. Maybe you want to search for a friend. You go to the search box, right? And then say you type in a friend's name. Where do you land? Once you like select that is for the person who's your friend. That you want to find, you go to like the profile page. But you can't really see much, right? Because you're not friends with them. So you got to add it as a friend. You can see how this gets pretty complicated pretty quickly, even for something as basic as having a friend on Facebook. And then, what happens after that? Probably they get an email. Or a notification, rather. Yeah. So in a different world, like, you can do it in a whole different world. They're going to get a notification. After they accept the notification, or say they reject it because they're not like a friend, whatever, you're going to get a notification on your Facebook that says so-and-so accepted your Facebook friend request, right? And then finally, you can click on it and see their profile page or see them in your newsfeed. And finally, we have this moment where you can connect with your friends so that you can keep up with what they're doing. It wasn't really until that moment that you could actually get any information about this person. So you start here, and after all this stuff, notification, it goes all the way back to the profile. And then this is the point at which we've accomplished our goal. Is this a good workflow? How do we like decide if something we've designed is good or not? Yeah? You'd ask the users. Yeah, test it. What are some basic metrics? I mean, we know, first of all, it has to be functional, right? We talked about this last lecture. So does this allow you to satisfy this goal? Like, have we met our criteria? I think so, right? You figure out who the friend is. Is it simple? Probably could be simpler. What are some other sub-concerns about this? I mean, this Facebook, when you're trying to find out information on Facebook, there might be private things you don't want somebody else to find out about. So this allows you to like have this double confirm step where you request somebody as a friend, then they accept that friendship, and then they see that you can see their information. Okay, let's compare it to something else. Let's do Twitter. Can somebody give me like a summary of the goal of Twitter? It's pretty similar, but there's some little differences, I think. What is Twitter generally used for? Yeah.
Real-time updates for current events and what your friends are doing.
Perfect. Yeah, real-time updates for current events, what other people are doing. So, I mean, we could say, as a user, I want to see what's going on out in the world from not just my friends, but other people who I don't necessarily know. I want to get very quick updates. You said real time, so it's about speed is a really big important factor for Twitter. Yeah, I think privacy is probably less of a concern. Is that what you're saying?
Well, like broadcasting ideas.
Yeah, you want to broadcast your ideas. The idea is we want to get this platform for spreading these ideas as quickly as possible. So privacy is less of a concern. Okay, so what's our, actually, we need to work on this. What's our workflow? If we were to design like the rooms between the houses in an app store, you still have to log in and start there. Then you go to a newsfeed or a screen. Pretty similar. Let's say you want to add a friend. You search for the friend. You go to list of friends. And then what happens? You friend them. You use Twitter. Yeah, Matt. I don't know. Yeah, you follow them. How's that different from friending them? It's a one-way street. They don't have to follow you back. You can see information about what they've been reading without following at all, right? Okay, so this is like a pretty simple thing, right? Like everybody knows how this works. It's not that complicated. There's slight differences between these apps. Why does one of them have this setup, which gets you from start over here to finish much quicker? What is this better or worse than Facebook Web? Who said it? Yeah, it depends. Why is that?
Because like we talked about how design has to fit the user or the context. If you're doing stuff on Twitter, it's probably more for like the general public. But if you're doing things on Facebook, it's more like you said, like private stuff.
Yeah.
So that adds like layer of complexity.
Exactly. So it depends because you're doing different things on Facebook and Twitter. On Facebook, you're sharing maybe pictures of your kids with people you know. On Twitter, you're trying to broadcast out to a large group of people. And so they're both good. They're just differently suited for different tasks. And that's all we're trying to get across here. There's basically these workflows you're going to build in an app. And today we're going to have you do these diagrams. We're going to go through step by step, try to figure out how to engineer a workflow that solves the problem that you defined last week. And we want you to think about how to make it simple, how to make it functional. We want you to actually solve the problem here. We want you to think about how it can be well understood by users, how they can understand that model really easily. But more than anything else, we want you to understand that the model you're building here really suits the user that you're trying to build it for. This is like one way of doing information architecture. We're going to talk about a couple other ways that you can like lay out your app very simply. This is like, so Sid here is in the front row, is taking a class on this right now that's talking about information architecture through the lens of Wes Anderson, which sounds like a really cool class. This is another one of those things that every lecture we do is like infinitely resources on, and there's a ton of people who spend their entire careers on this. But we think this sort of is a starting place for this for you guys, lay out the different pages that are going to be in your app, and really making sure that they're the right ones is going to be a good foundation when you have to build the rest of the house, and then to paint and choose materials and all those other pieces. Any questions about this stuff? Okay. Let's do one more before I have you guys work on this yourself. Let's do Instagram. You guys use Instagram? Raise your hand if you use Instagram. All right, so no excuse not to jump in. And let's do something a little bit different, which we were going to do here, but I think might be useful here, is let's talk about the first time you ever use an app. Before you ever get started, like you're not logging in. You just, somebody tells you about it, you download it, you open it up. Should we do that for Facebook, Twitter?
Instagram.
Let's try that for Instagram. What do you think the first thing you would want to do if you were building like another Instagram would be? Creating an account? Okay, we put that up there? Why did you create an account? Yeah, so you have to create an account so that all your stuff is there next time you load it. Maybe you can prevent people from adding stuff to your area. Yeah?
I'd like to contest that a little bit. First, if you've never been on Instagram before, wouldn't you want to see the value of Instagram before you give it your information?
That's a good point. Maybe you don't need to create an account first thing. Maybe a little tour or a workflow showing you why you even want to do that in the first place is a good idea.
Or showing you how many friends of yours use it.
Or showing you how many friends of yours use it, which is awesome. That's another really good idea. I really like that because it's helping you get that value, that aha moment. Oh shit, there's people. Wow, there's people on this app that I actually know and I can talk to them. Any other ideas for that first experience? Okay, so you start there. Maybe then you move them to sign up. What happens after that? Yeah.
You should get a list of suggestions on who you'd be interested in following.
Yeah. A list of suggestions that you're interested in following. How do you get that list? Like, how does the app know whether or not, who you might want to be friends with?
Allow access to your contacts.
Right. So somewhere in there, you're gonna have to allow access to contacts. You put that as like a little mini. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you grant access to your contacts. When we're working on this, we're gonna work with something called the golden path, which is just really like what happens if everything goes right. They can always say no to contacts. They can always skip sign up and like have some other difficulty remembering the password. There's all these things that can go wrong, and if you're a designer like this, you have to build these specs. You're gonna have to account for all of that stuff. But for now, let's just focus on like the easy things that go through like a really well done sign up. So you get access to contacts. You get a list of your friends. You start following them. What happens next? Go back.
They might encourage you to post something.
Encourage you to post something, right? That's a good idea. Put that over here.
You think you can post right away? Maybe? That's what I'm going to ask that question. Like, do you think you would want to post right away, right when you get into the app? Or you want to just get prompted to get posted? Or prompted to post?
If you couldn't hear, you said, do you want to post right away, or maybe you can prompt them to post. If we weren't posting, Kelsey, what else would we have in the feed?
Checking out the feed.
Yes, we can show you your friend's feed. Maybe get you engaged first before we actually ask you to contribute. We kind of skipped the goal here, though. We skipped a step. What did we forget to do before we started this workflow?
Identify the problem.
Yeah, we didn't identify what the point of this Instagram replacement is. So let's define that, and then we'll see how well we did. What's the goal of Instagram? Yeah?
Share snapshots of your everyday life.
Yeah, share snapshots of your everyday life. It's about your everyday life, right? And it's pictures. So you want to see your friends on there, and you have to see pictures. And let's call that success. So we got in here. We helped them get going by showing that there are other people they know on here. By actually seeing their contacts here. They signed up. They got a little explanation about what's going on. They have their feed. I would say right here is the point where they have success. It took about 3 screens for us to get them from this concept, this goal that they had, through to this moment where they said, oh, sweet, there's something that's happening. It's successful. So this is the narrative of the story. Sid and I were talking about this right before class. They have this idea, this want, this something that they're trying to accomplish. Maybe it's just curiosity that's getting them into this app. And in a couple minutes, we can get them a feed of pictures. I don't think this stuff is rocket science, obviously, right? But it's important to keep this in mind as you're going through stuff, because we're going to be critiquing this work and making sure that your workflows are functional, they hit the point that you specified last week, and that they get you to that aha moment of something really cool, so that your designs are going to fit that context. Okay, any questions? What do you guys think about this stuff? Raise your hand if this is obvious. Seems pretty straightforward. Raise your hand if this is confusing you. No, somewhere between. Okay. All right. Let's do it now. If you have a computer, I think it's draw.io.
Yeah.
You can make diagrams. If you have a piece of paper, pen and paper, grab them out, and let's start making some sketches. We have a ton of Post-it notes, thanks to Ahmad. These are really helpful if you want to just start drawing pages. You can put them up on the wall, rearrange them. Raise your hand if you are going to be going through and building a to-do. I think we're going to have you guys do a to-do this week. You don't have your own project. So raise your hand if you're just going to do whatever we assign this week. And raise your hand if you're going to be working on your own project for this. Okay, not too many. Raise your hand higher if you're working on your own project. You guys might want to find a couple of these people and help them out because they have a little bit more definition to work through. We'll be coming around.
Groups of 5.
What's that?
Groups of 5.
Yeah, group up in groups of 5 or 6. I think if you want to work on this alone too, I don't think it's a big deal. Whatever you guys want, I'm just going to leave it open. In a few minutes, we're going to come check in with you and see what you came up with. Okay? Cool. Get at it. All right, everybody, we're almost done. Give me attention for 1 minute. I'm going to have Sid share his diagram. We're going to do one more together. This is your assignment for the rest of next week. We're just going to have you complete one of these diagrams. You can do it on paper and take a picture and send it in. Or you can export on Draw.io, submit it through Canvas only. Make sure you include the place where you start the workflow and the place where they end the workflow, the point where they hit their goal. And you would also include the goal of the workflow so you can make sure that it sort of fits. Okay. Sid, what did you work on? Did you do that?
Yes.
Is that right? So what's your goal? You don't have to write it up.
The goal is basically to add and complete their items in the to-do list. That's it. I'm not considering search, delete, favoriting, adding a due date. There's too much I can think about, but keeping it very less is just add and teach them how to add a thing and complete it.
So you want to be able to add an item to the do list, see the list of items, and mark it as complete so that they can track what they're working on. All right, real quick.
Starting with scaffolding, so you can scaffold a list of items for them.
So you show the list,
Yes.
and then what happens when they click the list?
It's already has, I suppose, 5 items in it. It's already filled with some stuff.
Very cool.
So then you show them how to add one more thing to that list.
So you show them a bunch of sample items, you click add a new one, show them how to add a new item, and then what happens?
Then the item is added, so basically you add item in the next page. And then you ask them to, the last one is you can ask them to check one of the existing items or because,
So you have them check an item, show them how to complete that.
yeah,
All right,
basically that.
Nothing. You're good.
cool. Any other questions? Thank you, Sid. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next week.
Yeah, it goes fast.
I just wanted